You're now listening to the Dragon's Journey podcast. What's up, guys? Welcome to the third episode of my podcast, and I'm joined by the lovely David Smith. David, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah, I'm David Smith. I'm from Exit Plan Property Group.
Would you like so David, I know like me and you both went on the same uh educational program, and I was just wondering like what got you interested into property in the first place?
The thing that got me interested in property in the first place was failure, big failure, huge failure that my dad made back in the 90s. My dad basically was doing what we're aspiring to do now, what we are doing now with our journeys. You know, you buy a house, you do it up, you punt it on or you rent it out and stuff like that. But he got caught in a blighted property crash, and he over leveraged himself. Well, long story short, one day my dad used to say to me, "One day, son, all this will be yours," and it turned out to be a big nothing because he over leveraged everything. He lost interest in properties. He didn't follow them through. He would buy a place, not complete it, and just leave it. I'm not joking. He used to leave it with a huge mortgage, move on to the next one. My dad was all about, the next project, the next project, the next project, but forgetting about the things before. So with that in mind, we had a ton of debts really, and then the interest rates went through the roof, and it sank him in the space of about, I think it was 18 months.
Wow.
So all this will be your son turned into be a lesson in what not to do in property. So I got a bit of money behind me, not a lot, and I decided that I wanted to do this again because I had so much fun doing it with my dad while I was growing up. So basically, I was child slave like through my entire childhood working on my dad's properties.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do it again, and like a lot of people on our course, it was that whole thing of like I wanted to do it, but I didn't do it. And the thing that always stopped me was this horror story of my dad. So that always stopped me. So I thought the best thing to do was to get the education. And that's when I started searching. I kissed a few frogs along the way, read a few books, and then came across Aspire and Cohort 5, and hence how we're speaking now.
Yeah, nah, honestly. But to be honest, do you think you working with him a lot when you were younger and under some of the refurbs helped you out now that you're a lot older? Yeah.
Absolutely. It's kind of, I didn't come into this cold. I mean, I knew what I was getting into. The only thing I didn't really know was all the extra stuff that we've learned with Aspire. I mean, all this other stuff comes down the pipe that you've never even heard of, and it's just like, what's that? What's that strategy? Where does that go? And all of a sudden, you start talking to people that are doing this stuff, and they've been doing it for like years, and they're quite happy to instill that knowledge in you as well, which I absolutely love. So everything kind of goes around in a circle. And I don't think I answered your question, did I?
Um,
Did I?
no, you
Did
did. You
I?
told me about like how you got what made you decide to get back into property, really.
Yeah, it was it was that. It was wanting to not, I didn't want the same thing to happen to me that happened to my dad. I didn't want to get so far down the road. But
Yeah.
even though that said, point with his pen, that said, the one thing I've learned from, Aspire and also being around people like yourself, and various other people in Cohort 5 and people I've met along the way, and the BNI groups and reading the books, it doesn't matter if I'm going to put fail in quote marks, but it's not fail, it's learn, because I know that if it all did come crashing around my ears, say the interest rates went up to 40%, my 25% deposit's gone through the floor, the world's going to implode, my cat's died, and whatever else happens, I know that I could pick this up again in less than half the amount of time with the contacts in place and all the things that I've learned. I could then do it again with ease. I'd be a little bit more wary, obviously, but it's all learning.
No, it makes
But I
sense because
won't do what my dad did.
yeah, because they say once you do something the first time, even if you were to lose everything, you would get back to where you were faster, and you'll get a lot more the second
Yeah.
time round because you just know what to do.
Yeah, I remember that. Like the first time my dad taught me how to ride a bike, he got me this little blue bike, and it was one of those bikes that didn't have pedal back. It just literally went in the first direction. My dad, he sits on your bike, holds onto the seat, walks with you, and then he lets go of the seat, but he doesn't tell you what to do next. So you just keep going until I hit a wall. So it's like
Yeah.
next time, avoid the
Turn.
wall. You know? So
Yeah.
I suppose with property, it's the same thing. You know, you know the wall's there. You didn't know it was there initially, but now you
Yeah.
do. So make sure you don't hit it.
Nah, 100%, honestly. So, like, from the time when you first joined, how many projects would you say you've worked on now? Because I've seen you been working on quite a few, to be honest.
I think it seems a lot more than it actually is. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's kind of like in the pipeline, but actual solid projects. There was a flat that I was working on.
Yeah.
That was an accidental landlord situation that turned into a title split that was a bit of a nightmare. Didn't know what I was doing. Didn't even know it was called a title split at the time, but that's what I was doing. So basically, it was a
Yeah.
flat with a bit of land. It was a bit of wasteland that had a giant
Okay.
bramble bush on it. So I didn't know what to do with it. So I flattened it first, and then it was like, what can I do with this bit of land now? Well, I've always quite fancied a garage, so I went onto eBay. I'm not joking. I bought
Yeah.
a garage, concrete sectional garage on eBay, not knowing how much it weighed, and it was in Preston at the time. I was living in Woking,
Okay.
uh, so I thought, oh, get a truck, go and pick this garage up. And I'm not joking. I kind of rocked up with me and a friend in
Yeah.
this massive garage and a 7.5 ton truck, you know. And I was like,
Oh,
so yeah, help yourself. And I just took it down, stuck it in the back of the truck, and then started building this truck when we got it back down
oh,
to Woking. So built that, and then went down the process of splitting the titles, so I could sell the garage separately from the actual flat itself. Now,
okay.
it was a long, long, long process, one that I fumbled around in the dark. I didn't know what I was doing, didn't do any reading. I just thought, that's easy. You just go to solicitors, say, I want to sell the garage separately, they'll split the titles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me, I think it was 6 months to get that done initially. And then it dragged on and on and on and on and on and on and on. It was
Oh
legals,
my.
and then it was I had a freeholder who wouldn't sign papers, and then I had to chase after solicitors and then conveyancers, and it was, you know, the usual story. But now I've gone through that whole process. I mean, all in all, it was a couple of months shy of 2 years.
Wow.
But now I know what to do. You know, it's like one of those things.
Yeah.
It's like the problem was the freehold on this particular property was split 3 ways. Now it was
Yeah.
a father and a son, and the son's then partner. The father and the son didn't speak. They had a big falling out about 5 years previous, and the partner of the son decided to go traveling around the world, and she'd been gone for a good few years. Nobody knew where she was. So,
Oh my
you know, private
gosh. That
detectives
must
trying to
have been
find her and all this
difficult
stuff.
trying
So
to get.
it was a catalogue of just, oh, it was horrible. But now it's all on board, and I know what to do, what not
Yeah.
to do. So I don't see it as a bad thing. I see it as a learning thing. I think a lot of people kind of stop when they see the hill that they've got to climb and just turn around and walk away. Whereas people like you and me will look at the hill and go, we'll get over that in a minute.
Yeah. It's just a matter of time, really, and getting around the right people.
Yeah,
Like, so would you
absolutely.
ever do title split again, or is it something that you're like,
It's absolutely, yeah. It's something that
yeah,
we're looking at the moment. Through a contact of Aspire, as always, we have found um, one property that was it's 6 flats in a block. And initially, my strategy was to, try and buy it, try and finance it, and then just sell one of the flats, and then that'll pay for the bridge. And I thought that was an easy strategy. And
yeah,
then you kind of put it about, and there's somebody in the group going, "Well, why would you do that?" And then teach
mm,
you about title splits and how to do it in different ways. And I was just,
yeah,
"Gee," you make a lot more profit. I mean, the paperwork's a lot more, and you have to go through various solicitors and different processes. But yeah,
yeah,
it's having that group, isn't it?
yeah,
Because
100%. Because oh,
yeah,
carry on.
I was going to say, if you'd have done it my way, it would have worked. It's not the best way, but without the network, I'm as good as my own ideas or what I've found on YouTube.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because I've like learned so much just from the network itself. That's things that I would never even thought like, oh yeah, you can do it that way as well. You don't have to like it just gives you so many different options.
Yeah. I have said
Like,
myself a couple of times, like, is that legal? And they're like, yes. Certain things you think, why haven't I been doing that before?
yeah.
Because you weren't taught it. It's crazy.
Honestly, like the one that I've really been interested in lately is like assisted sales.
Yeah.
That one's really good because then you're not really having to put up the cost of buying the house. It's just you walk in, do the refurb, just like the TV shows on that you see on TV growing up. Go in, do the house up, sell it, and then split the profit. So I'm thinking, as a starting out, that might be better for me personally because I haven't got any hands-on experience with the refurb.
Yeah.
So it's like a small way of easing into without having
Yeah.
to pay for a whole house.
Yeah. Why not? It's like, I mean, with the free refurb stuff, I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's kind of, you need to be quite systematic with it. It's like, I
Yeah,
always work from dirty jobs first. If it's wet or if it's dusty, get all that done first. It's like your plumbing, your electrics, anything that's got to pull the floors up. And it's like the last thing. I think the ultimate last thing I do is the floors and the carpets. Once the floors and the carpets have been ordered, and in the
yeah,
current one, they have been ordered. So I know that the end is in sight.
yeah,
So I've obviously got to put them down. But yeah, so once those have been ordered, I don't
yeah.
think there's anything after that. I suppose maybe you could paint the outside of the house, but that's part of the paint the decorators sequence. I'm
Nah,
actually
it
coming
makes
up with my own little Gantt chart of how to structure it.
yeah,
So at the minute, I'm basically just doing it like my dad did. Oh, you need a bit of plaster over there, you need a bit of this over there, you've got to do the electric stand. I'm still doing it like my dad. I'm trying to get out of those habits and be a bit more, Sam Spencer and structured about it.
yeah,
But yeah, it's still like, my dad worked on backhanders and bits of paper, but
yeah,
I'm out of that. I'm still doing bits of paper, but I am getting better. I'm putting the systems and processes in place that we're supposed to. But
yeah,
it's hard to get out
100%.
of old
I was
habits.
gonna say as well, like, are you looking to keep doing? Are you flipping the properties or just refurbish refinance? Would you say?
Why refurbish finance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing the refinance because at the minute, I mean, properties are ridiculously expensive. I mean, the house that I
Yeah.
bought, there's one I bought, and I'm not joking, it went up 55,000 in 4 months. I know it's ridiculous because because initially
That's
it went up by 45k, and I thought that's okay because I put 30 grand in as a or the roughly about 30,000 in as a refurb. Oh,
yeah.
the lights just came. Yeah, 30,000 for the refurb. So I thought that's reasonable, sort of 15,000 on top for your troubles. But then the whole thing of everybody just going bonkers buying houses. I
Yeah.
spotted one that came up for sale just over the road from me, and I was just like, oh, I looked at it, it's like the same as mine, same spec as mine, roughly done up to the same sort of spec as mine. I wonder how much it's going for. And it was up for 365. And I was just like, how? And they've got it. And I was thinking, okay, well, I'll just refinance at the higher rate. So I've just gone ahead and done that.
Yeah.
Just
And lock in this like lower interest rates. It's smart.
yeah, yeah. So I didn't do anything for that money. I just went back to my mortgage advisor. Okay, I have to pay the fees and bits and pieces, but there you go. It'd be about like 48,000 pound change. It's like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
100%. Because I was gonna say, like, I know you're probably out of everyone in Aspire. I see you doing a lot more of the like refurbs
Yeah.
so far, at least. And I was just thinking, in the future, would you ever like hire contractors to do it, or would you
Oh,
keep doing it yourself?
I am stealing the thunder. Your social media is only how you present yourself to the world.
Yeah.
But I have got a load of uh content in the can, so to speak, that's sat on my phone, which is the builders that are doing the work, and I'm claiming all the credit for it.
Oh, okay.
I am
I
honestly
mean,
on my TikTok. There's one guy called Carol Peruk, and he has featured a couple of times on my TikToks and Instagram stories. And
yeah,
one of the things we've got going at the minute is because I'm just like, oh, we've just done the kitchen. I don't hint to say that I did the kitchen. I just say, this is what we started with, and this is what we got now. And then people make up their own assumptions in their head, just saying, oh,
yeah,
well, he must. No, I didn't do it. It was Carol. Was Carol. Carol's done that, and then it's kind of like, oh, here's the bathroom. The bathroom. Oh, an 80s sauna. It was like a little porno paradise. It was horrible, really grimy and slimy, and it smelt like fish. Anyway,
oh
but
man,
So we stripped it all out and started again, new floors, new everything. So basically a whole new bathroom suite, fixed the windows and stuff like that, painted it all up, looks lovely. But it's like, there's that whole kind of homes under the hammer. It's like 1 minute you're in a horrible bathroom and the next minute it's like,
Yeah,
here's what we've done.
100%. Have
But
like have you recorded the before and afters and like just posted all of it? Yeah,
yeah,
that'd be
yeah.
honestly.
I'm posting as I go. It's kind of the thing that we've been told to do is to test the water. I think what a lot of people do is they get a place and there's no journey. Because I
Yeah.
work in TV and this is what I do, I'm about the journey as well. It's not about the, you know, here's the crap and here's the great stuff. It's kind of like, no, you're going to get it warts and all. Here's all the problems that I've had. You're going to get everything. You're going to get me moaning and here's my wins, but here's my fails. Here's the stuff I could have done better. And what the hell was I thinking when I did that? That's kind of how I work. It's
Yeah.
whether you want to hear it or not, you're going to hear it, or you can just, swipe up and move on.
Yeah. Now, honestly, like from seeing your content, I actually love it because it's just honest. Like, there's no like fluff or like saying, "Oh, look at me, I'm amazing." You're just like, "No, this is what we're dealing with." And if it's a good day, it's a good day. If it's not, it's not. Like, you're just completely honest with it. And I think
Yeah.
a lot of people will like that content, to be honest, because it's different. Everyone usually just shows the highlight reel.
Yeah, I like the highlight reels. It shows you in a short, like a 20-second space of time of what's achievable, but it doesn't give you the journey, does it? It's like it's hard. It is really hard.
Yeah.
It's simple, but it's hard. I mean, I think it was Jamie said that, it's a simple process, but it's really hard to achieve. And it is, you think I used to walk in and go, right, I'm going to do the bay, I'm going to paint this, I'm going to plaster that, I'm going to do the electrics, and that would be on a list to do in a day. And you just think it's just not achievable. It's like I
Yeah.
spent the entire weekend just gone. I mean, okay, I contract a lot of stuff out, or most of the stuff now. I'm pretty much going to contract out 100% of it, you know. But there's some stuff that I really enjoy doing. It's like the crafty stuff.
Yeah.
Crafty? No, the craft stuff. I really enjoy that. I mean, throwing paintables and stuff like that doesn't interest me at all. But there's the bays out the front. It's the first bit you see of the house is this bay window. It's got a lovely bay window, but it's been repaired to a really bad state. So I decided to go in. I did the research and bits and pieces, and I'm remodeling the front to make it look as it should look.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy doing stuff like that. Now, some people say you shouldn't work in your company. Oh, so you shouldn't. Yeah, you shouldn't work in the company. You should work on the company.
Yeah.
Whereas I think you should well, me personally, I want to cherry pick the jobs that I enjoy doing. It's like that stuff like that feels like a craft piece. I enjoy doing that. So, I'll do it,
Yeah.
you know,
No, no,
but
it makes
generally,
sense. And like, to be honest, it's your business. You can run it the way you want to.
exactly. You do tend to find, I don't know about you, but you get bogged down in other people's opinions and how you should work. I mean, I do take a
Yeah.
lot of those things on. You know, you should get the systems in place and you should get the people on board. You should definitely outsource as soon as possible. All the admin stuff and the
Yeah.
generating the leads and finding the houses, that should all be outsourced and stuff. So it just gives you a list of stuff that you can go through, because that's time that is, it's not good time served by you to do.
Yeah.
The stuff that you enjoy doing, it's like if you've got like a few hours and stuff and you want to paint a wall, Christ, go paint a wall. Because at the
Yeah.
end, it's not focused. Everyone goes on about, at the minute, everyone, like, mental health's a big thing, and a lot of
Yeah.
people don't realize that hard work is good for your mental health.
Yeah,
If you enjoy,
honestly, because you
yeah,
feel so much satisfaction after it, and you're like,
yeah,
during it, you're like, "Oh my gosh, this is so hard. Why did I pick to
yeah,
do this?" And then afterwards, you're like, "Wow, this is really worth it."
yeah. That bay window, I spent 2 solid days just like, I was chipping off bits and scraping paint away, and coming up with my theories of how it managed to get damaged, and then it was crafting it and trying to get it back one layer, let it dry, another little layer, rub it
Yeah.
down, another bit, another little layer. That bit's done. Okay, move on to the next bit. It was just so satisfying. And what I love
Yeah.
about the end of it as well is this: you kind of go, I did that.
Yeah.
every every time I go past it now, I kind of stop and go, yeah, I did that. Yeah. I suppose it's the same feeling if it's like, you rented it out and you're earning loads of money. It's kind of like, yeah, getting loads of money. But with me, it's kind of like, the corner of that building, I did that. My hands did that. I just love that feeling. It's me. It's because it's just how I was raised. I'm
Yeah.
sure if I was raised with a more of a business head, then I'd have a different outlook on it. But I've always been a grafter, so little grafter Dave in my head needs satisfying every now
Yeah.
and again.
To
Makes
to be honest, I'd love to like join in some of the like fitting the kitchens together and stuff like that, and just being there to like help move. I'd love doing that. It's just I don't know how long I'd be able to do it for if I kept getting more and more projects.
Well, it's I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah. Once it becomes about the project management and stuff like that, yeah, it'd be different. I mean, I still like to think that I'd go in. I think by then I'd have my chateau, and I'd be working on my chateau in my spare time,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. But not that I want a chateau, you know what I mean. It's like I've got this thing about my forever house. I've got this solid view of the house I eventually want to live in.
Yeah.
Um, but I'll be working on that and then running the business, or the business is going to be running itself, So it'll allow me more time to, work on the things that I want to do.
No, no, it makes sense. So like what would you say is your goal for the next everyone always says 5 years, but I'd like to say 1 year in the next year, I'd say. Because that's something that you can like see. I feel like 5 years, a lot can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, totally agree. I suppose it's that whole thing of like uh, you overestimate what you can do in the short term and you underestimate what you can do in the long term. So I suppose if that was the case, then I want to be. No, actually, no, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to be doing every year is So I was going to say like I'm going to own Buckingham Palace or something. No, it'll be So sorry, yeah, just me, I'm always pissing about. But no, in 1 year's time, the business will be running itself, more or
Yeah,
less, as in all of the systems and processes to do the smaller, more time-consuming tasks will be all
yeah,
completely outsourced. Um, Myself and Rachel will then be focusing on more of the deals and finding, the good packages. We're also going to be working on a lot of, well, I say a lot of title splits. We're going to be working on title splitting.
yeah.
That's where we're heading within the next 6 months or so. I've actually put that I am going to be quitting. Should say that too loud. I'll be quitting my job.
No
I'm
way.
starting to work, but
Oh, is that
no,
so
I'm
that's your
definitely,
goal for the end of the year
yeah,
to just
yeah.
have that? Wow, that's
April next year. April next year is going to be either part time or completely, cut my
yeah.
ties. If I can't manage that, my B plan is to take a 3 month sabbatical from work and literally just focus 3 solid months on exit plan, property group.
Yeah. No,
Um,
that's fair to be honest. Because with me, because I've just recently got this new job as like a games designer, and I'm like,
yeah.
I love that. So I'm like, I don't know if I could ever fully walk away from it.
No, I
But
guess I'm the same really with this. I mean, I love doing my day job. I'd like to be a consultant within it, but I can do this. The thing for me is I think it's time to pass the baton on, because
yeah,
I am in quite a privileged position with my work. I mean, these positions don't come up
yeah,
very often, and the queue for my job is enormous, and I don't want to be that person that's just like holding on to it for forever,
yeah,
stopping someone who really wants to do it.
yeah,
It's I think when you know it's time, then you got, if you know yourself it's time to move on, then you should move on.
yeah.
But if you still like doing what you're doing, then yeah, smash it, just do it.
To be honest, you might just get a happy coincidence where, like, because you're making so much content, you might end up having your own TV show, and then you'll be getting a bit of both.
I don't know about that. The chat shit with Dave.
Nah, honestly,
So I
I
actually
think
say
you've
that.
got the like charisma to do that. Like,
Do they? Oh, maybe. Well, we'll see what the future holds. I mean, it's like putting stuff out there
yeah,
beforehand. You kind of put stuff out there, but you didn't consciously do it. It's just something I quite fancy doing it, and then things come of the thing that you put out there. But now, if we consciously do it, think, right, I want to move in that direction.
yeah,
I will put things in place to get to me. It's the whole thing of starting with the end. Know where you're going to go, and then put the plan in place to get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
But while you're going along the way, things will take you in sort of different directions. You think, oh, I quite fancy that. And then you go and do that for a bit. Oh, hang on a minute. No, I was going there. Let's go back that way. Well, that looks nice. Let's go over there for a second. It's like
Yeah.
we had that conversation, didn't we, about the shiny penny syndrome? And I think it was
Yeah.
like Steve and Jackie did it as well. Like so many people were talking about this shiny penny syndrome. And I was like, not me. Buy to lets all the way. I'm just going to do this, refinance it. And all of a sudden, I was looking at, title splits and was it essays and
Yeah.
all these other bits and pieces, and I started reading some Rob Moore books. I'm just like, oh, these look good. I'll do that. And you end up spending like a couple of months researching stuff that you're never ever going to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, hang on a minute. What happened to my original strategy? I better go back to that.
Yeah.
Not wasted time, but you think, hang on a minute, that's 2 minutes. That 2 minutes, 2 months I could have spent doing the thing I said I was going to do
Yeah.
rather than other stuff.
No, honestly, it makes sense because when I first started, I just wanted to get into serviced accommodation, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'll get into that mainly because I knew a bit about it beforehand. And then I was like, I didn't quite know a lot about refurb and mainly the costings of a refurb. So I was like, yeah, I'll go into SA. And then, like, as time went on, I started seeing more and more refurb content. And I'm like, I really like what they're doing there, and I'll do this instead. I'll do this instead. And then, like, the design side of me was like, oh, you could do this for a kitchen. Oh, you could do this for a bath. Or like,
Yeah.
just going crazy. And
Yeah.
then, like, after a while, I'm like, completely forgot about SA. And I was just looking at like flips, learning more about flips, learning
Mm.
the steps in a flip,
Yeah.
everything I could just on flips. And now I'm just like, okay, so I was literally until about what 2 weeks ago, I was literally just like source a flip deal, source a flip deal, and then I heard about assisted sale, and it's basically the same, just without the risk of buying the property. So I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, I'll do that as a starter.
Why not? Yeah. It's like a lot of these things are, a bit further down the line, isn't it? It's like once I get my assisted sales at the line, and then I'll buy my own property. When I've done that, I'll do the BRR. I'm
Yeah,
with Jamie York on this about the whole, vanilla buy to lets. I like that constant stream of incomes coming in. It's not a massive amount. It doesn't
yeah,
make you huge, but when you times it by 2, by 4, by 6, by 8, by 12, by 100,
yeah,
all of a
it's
sudden it becomes a
significant.
viable. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you get like again, like people always say, oh, bad tenants, but I feel like it's the whole thing of the minority speak a lot louder than the majority. Majority of tenants are actually good. So if you're going for like buy to let portfolio, I think it's so like much easier. It's less hassle compared
Yeah.
to the strategy. So it really depends what you want. Like for me personally, I I'm only starting with essays for the cash flow, and
Yeah.
then essays and assisted sales, sorry, for the cash flow,
Yeah.
to then buy the buy to lets afterwards,
Yeah,
essentially.
why not? I think it's a great way forward. I mean, I think we've tapped onto a wonderful thing. We knew it was there, but we just didn't know how to use it. And now
Yeah,
we got given a whole box full of stuff that we can use.
yeah,
And
100%. And it's
beforehand,
just
we,
like,
we didn't
oh,
even. Yeah,
which one could we use this
yeah.
for this one?
It is picking the one and say, that's me. This is me. I don't care what you throw at me. You can leave your golden, was it your golden rainbow over there?
Yeah,
Because that's another thing. People just keep hitting you all the time. As soon as you put yourself out there,
yeah.
oh, try this, or we've got this thing going, or the crypto kings. Oh, the amount of times you get hit with crypto and forex
Oh
now, it's just
my
like, oh,
day, it's
not
ridiculous.
interested.
I've literally like honestly, if I ever take long replying to you on Facebook Messenger, it's because I'm trying to avoid it from all
Yeah,
the messages I get on there. It's ridiculous.
yeah. It's that one. Hi, Buckley. How are you today? It's like, oh God, I know where this is going. I know where this is
I know
going.
it's like I know
You
it's
just
going. I'm
know.
gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, but
Yeah.
I know it's
The funnel's the same though, isn't it? Even if you answer honestly, you
yeah,
know that you're just going to get cut and paste, cut and paste. They're not even reading it. They're just,
yeah.
they cut and paste the script and hoping you get to the end and then off you go. But
Ah,
it's okay. I mean, one day I might. Actually, no, I'm not going to do forex. A friend of mine did forex, and he invested 280,000 in a forex thing, and it looked like he was going to get millions out of it. And then what was it? The company, I won't actually say what the company is, but
Yeah.
they got served notice from a country that they weren't allowed to trade in anymore. So now all of his money's, it's not gone. Apparently it's
Yeah.
frozen, but he's been trying to unfreeze it now for 7 months. He did say to me once he actually gets it out, he's going to invest in me. So
Oh,
fingers
fair
crossed.
play. Yeah, fair play.
Yeah,
Hey, at least you got that in the pipeline.
yeah, it's good. It's all these conversations, though, isn't it? You just have the conversations, you plant the seed, and you wait. I'm not joking. I've had a few people come back to me. Oh, it just sounds really conceited, but Dave, you were right. I should have thought about that this way.
Yeah.
And all I'm doing is I'm reflecting back the things that I've learned, the best way
Yeah.
that I think it would be for their situation. And I had one guy come back to me today, and I'm not joking. He inherited like 600,000, and he spent
Wow.
670 on a house. You know, I was like, why have you done that? It's like he's bought this.
No.
I'm not joking. It's enormous, and there's him and a cat. That's it.
That's like, I'm just thinking 600,000. That's 5 refurbs.
This is what I said to him. I was like, "You're bonkers." Honestly, I said, "It's up to you what you want to do with your money. It's fine, but why not wait? You know, get some assets." And here's a lot of people think an asset is a house. You know, I bought a house. I've got an asset. No, no, no. That asset is costing you money, so it's not an asset. It's a liability. It goes
Yeah.
in that column, not the
Yeah.
asset column.
You just
If you've
needed
got
to switch the
600,000
mortgage from residential to buy to let. Then it's an asset.
see, we know this. We know this.
Oh
But it's
man.
good. It's good. It's nice to kind of like help people out as well. I really enjoy. You know, you can see like with people, it's just like get these eureka moments. I mean, 9
Yeah.
times out of 10, they don't follow the advice that you give, but they're like, can you do that? Is that something that's done? And you're like, well, yeah, I'm doing
Yeah.
it now. I'm living proof that it works.
Honestly, it's
All that.
all like with what you know, to be honest. And like, guys, what would you say is the best way to contact you and follow your story, like your story and journey in property?
Yeah, I mean, you can get hold of it if you just type in exit plan property group, and you'll on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or you can message me, info or David at exitplanpropertygroup.com. And yeah, we'll be happy to work or chat about stuff or whatever you want to do.
Cheers, thank you. Honestly, this guy will help you out a lot. He's really knowledgeable and he's helped me so much. So honestly, guys, if I'd definitely follow, I'm gonna leave all the links in the description of this podcast, so it should be easy for you to contact him. Thanks again for listening and take care.